Yeah, okay, all right. So for my roll call question, I am going to do, if you have any pets, tell us what pets they are. And if you don't have any pets, what would you like as a pet? Beginning with Senator Krutzinger, who is Senator Krutzinger's on Zoom.
Hello, yes, I'm here. So I have quite a bit of pets. I have 4 dogs, 3 indoor cats, 2 horses. One's a miniature horse, one's like a regular horse. And then I have a gazillion farm cats. Don't know what the count is now, but the count used to be like 30 or so.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is quite a bit.
Yeah, what they are, but I won't do that to y'all.
All right, Senator Sperry.
I have a dog.
What's the dog's name?
His name is Oliver.
And what's the breed, do you know?
We don't know. Look at a sausage with stubby legs.
The ugliest dog I've ever seen in my life. It's so ugly.
Oh!
He is ugly.
He's not ugly, ugly. He's funny.
Oh.
I would agree with that.
Senator Christensen.
I have a dog. His name is Rocky.
Rocky, do you know a breed for that one?
Rough collie, for certain. We don't know what Oliver is. Oliver is like a sausage with like a massive head and like little tiny stuffed legs.
That sounds so cute.
His neck is the same width as mine.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Senator Corollas.
I have 2 dogs,
Very nice. What are their names?
Princess and Emma.
Princess and Emma. I love it, Princess. Senator Miller.
I have an Australian Labrador named Sully.
Labrador.
Yeah.
Named Sully. Senator Bean.
I have a dog named Max and a cat named Oscar.
Oscar. Perfect name for a cat. Senator Myers.
I have a cat named Missy.
What was the name of the cat?
Missy.
Missy. Senator Tinko.
I don't have a pet, but I like to have
You would like to have a fish or not? Do you know what tropical or just goldfish or? Senator Duval.
I don't currently have any pets, but I do want to adopt a Cocker Spaniel at some point.
Congressman. Senator Piper.
I have an American Bulldog boxer mix named George.
Bulldog. Oh my gosh. Senator Dodge, we're doing obviously, if you have a pet, what's the name of the pet? Species, obviously, and if you don't have one, what would you like as a pet?
Got 2 dogs back home, Bella, Beagle, and then a cockapoo named Sadie.
Cocker-poodle.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Senator Bell.
I have like 8 fish, and then I have 2 dogs at home, and my roommate has a cat.
Oh,
My dogs are an Australian Shepherd and an Australian Cattle Dog, and their names are Willow and Oshi.
she. Senator Tugin.
At home, I have 2 cats. We got twin cats for twin daughters. And in my dorm, I have a fish named
Lincoln. Oh,
He's a conversation.
lovely. Moving on to our cabinet, I'm gonna go first. I have at my mom's house, I have a pet pig named Howard. If you have me on Snapchat, I post him like basically every single day. At my roommate's house, we have 5 cats and 2 dogs, and there's a fish. I'll count my roommates as pets as well, because I basically take care of them. President Beck.
I also have a dog named Bella. She's just a black dog that sounds so weird. She's our goth girl. And then my brother has a cat. That was like, we consider it our cat because it lived with us for a while, but it's William. He's a Maine Coon. He only has 1 year. It's the best.
Very nice. Vice President Struck.
I have at my parents' house, I have 2 cats that I grew up with. Philly, they're both adopted, like they were both strays, so we don't really know what they are. But there's Philly, like in Philadelphia. And he is, gosh, he's 16 years old now. And then my little cat, she little tabby, her name's Abu, like the monkey from Aladdin. And then my boyfriend's dog, who I take care of fairly often, is a little Chihuahua, and her name is Lucy, but I call her Gooser. And yeah, she's just like a little weird, ugly, cute dog. You know, she's like ugly in a very cute way, you know, she's funny looking, she hops around, so.
All right, Director of Graduate Life, Kelsey Wren.
I have an orange tabby cat named Banjo. He's also a senior citizen. He's really old and he's just really fat. And when he runs, his stomach hits the ground. So he's just living his best life.
The best type of cats. Director of Athletic Affairs, Gabby Champion.
We just got a puppy in September. Her name is Wally. She's a beagle mix. She's very cute.
Perfect. And how about you, Mike?
We have a 9-pound terrier, a teddy bear. They're a mix, and I don't know what the two breeds are. Gabby.
Gabby, very cute. All right, thank you everyone for participating. With that, we'll move on to the identification of the press, of which sadly there's not one. So we'll move on to student forum and announcements. Are there any motions to be recognized for student forum and announcements? I recognize Vice President Sharp.
When we all get back from spring break on that Tuesday that we're back, we'll be having Asian Student Union will be hosting and having some dumplings on Tuesday night that are going to be catered. Sorry, I'm also looking up where the location is. They'll be catered by David's Dumplings, which is like, if you haven't been there over by me, it's super good. It'll be at 5:30. And it'll kind of be like, you know how like BSU has Hot Wings, Hot Topics. It's similar to that. We'll have hot dumplings and hot topics. And it'll be a speaker from, I don't know her name. There'll be like 2 speakers to talk about like Asian American history and things like that. But there's gonna be dumplings, so like free food. So.
Thank you very much, Vice President Sharp. Are there any other motions to be recognized for student forum and announcements? Going one more time. And if not, we'll move on to calls for changes to the order of the day. Are there any calls for changes to the order of the day? Going one more time. And if not, we will move on to the approval of last meeting's minutes, 20th regular Senate meeting, brought to you by Deputy Speaker Caroline Christensen. Is there a motion for approval?
A motion to approve.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much. And with that, we will move on to our guest reports, beginning with President Samantha Bennett.
All right.
All right, hello everybody, it's nice to see you after, I wasn't here the last couple of weeks, but first, I wanted to start with some very important information. It's Derek's birthday, he's not here, so you can't like wish him a happy birthday like directly, but like, so nice to put out into the world, happy birthday Derek. He'll be starting a like basketball game like a little bit here, so also manifest a victory for him right now. But going on to what I've been working on. First, I want to ask a long question. I know this question is more for senators who have probably had to sit through a lot more of my Senate reports. Just, you know, in the interest of fairness, you probably have an easier time answering this question, I hope. But I just wanted to ask if anybody felt confident enough to supply a description of any of my student fees items and what they were. Could anybody tell me what my student fees proposals were? Caroline.
I could be completely wrong, but is one of your student fees to get a mental health professional for the athletes on campus? Is that the student fees?
Yes, that was one of my proposals. Does anybody know what the other 2?
No one else want to take a shot?
Just adding to that, I know you had like a whole, you know, was it a flyer, a banner made for like a presentation you had to do at the Capitol?
Yeah. That was related to that project, yeah. Nobody else wants to say
Your other 2 was mental health outreach position, GA position, for that would specifically work with Active Minds and resident assistants. As if you read the recent Northern Iowan from last week, that was a big concern of, you know, mental health and being an RA and also a student, so that's one of the things we're working on to kind of help fix that, something we have been working on kind of the whole year that Sam's put a lot of work into, and then also the multicultural mental health, which we currently have, but we separated that from the outreach position since that wasn't approved last year to make them two, and they, as of right now, are both and planning on being approved. And then this is also separate, but also the gender violence and prevention line item.
Awesome. So
I know that because I've been on.
I did just ask you, so we're hoping, yeah. The reason I ask is just, you know, because one of the things Allison and I have been working on and looking forward to be, you know, worked on is this transition process as we kind of onboard Lila and Kaya to step into these roles. And, you know, the hope is always to continue the work that's been undertaken by us this year. And, you know, as, you know, Allison kind of said, these are a lot of items that we have spent, you know, this year working very hard on. We put a lot of time and effort and energy, and the hope is, of course, that this work is to continue on. So part of that is, you know, of course, Lila and Kai are going to be very knowledgeable on these things, but it shouldn't fall completely on them entirely, whether or not, you know, these initiatives are able to continue. They're going to have their own initiatives they want to work on, and as we learn these roles, other things are going to pop up that you got to, you know, spend some time on and address. So it shouldn't fall completely to them to try to continue these on. And so it is important that you guys, you know about our work and you're knowledgeable about it and you're able to describe it, especially since I've, you know, especially with my athletics. This is not an updated document. These should be taken off. I'm not going to talk about the next, but especially since that's something I've probably gotten up here and talked to you guys about a handful of times now. So the hope would be that you guys would be able to describe it, since I have, you know, told you about it quite a bit by now. So it's a little disheartening that more of you weren't able to talk to me about it. Since I do hope you guys listen. I know not everybody wants to hear about what I'm working on at ISG, especially outside of ISG. Nobody ever asked me to look to, so for you guys to not even, that's a bit sad, I think. I hope that you guys will maybe pay a little more attention moving forward to Lila Kaya's future reports. But yeah, anyways, we have a call today, slightly different time. We had our student leaders meeting at 1 p.m. today, so we just recorded this one. Yesterday was Derek, the birthday boy himself. I just uploaded it before we're at the door to come here. There's a slight lag time before it actually gets listed. So any second now, it should be available for you to listen to. Derek was a fantastic guest. He did a really good job of explaining some of the anticipated changes to the student order funding process. Yeah, so give that a listen when you have time. It's up, yeah, okay, cool. Party. I also have another segments, and I don't use this, except not this week because the interns is busy. But usually, if you want to hear what kind of music I listen to, a lot of Mitski, I'll tell you that. Student leaders meeting was today, like I said, so that's why our intercom time got pushed back a little bit, just because, if I prioritize, I'm not gonna tell them I'm busy at the radio station, talk to me later. But yeah, I had a bit of a discussion on that RA article in the Northern Ireland, how to respond to it. Allison and I did. She sent an email to Raffaello asking for a meeting.
I got a reply. I forwarded it to you.
Awesome. I have not been able to check my email today. I haven't been turned, but so hopefully we'll be moving forward with addressing that. Like Allison kind of said, that one student fees item that I drafted and proposed will hopefully be funded, seeks to remedy part of that situation. We also just talked about transition, of course. There's going to be incoming administration, that are going to be, teaching them how to do these roles and all that, anticipating that. We'll rope them into our last student leaders meeting, which will be next month, just so they can have kind of a more formal introduction with Maucker, Morris, and Heather would be, the new VP for student life as great interim. And then just, yeah, talking about how student fees will have a proposal for NUC, probably soon. So anticipating that. Kudos this week goes to Zach, because massive thank you for a hugely successful Even Our Day. That was such a blast. I'm sure those of you who were able to attend will agree that it was a lot of fun. It was a great time. And he's been doing some incredible work as Denver. So massive thank you to him. My parting words, especially just during this midterm season, brutal. In this terrifying world, you can continuously have the power to offer someone else a hope. Why do you live like that? Do you remember what a love with you feels like? Feels like a lot. So, a lot of people like to say that it costs nothing to be kind. I don't necessarily think that's true, because it truly costs nothing. Everybody would be super nice all the time, but it does cost energy and effort. But I feel like it is important to, when you're able, put forward that little extra effort and offer someone else relief, especially in these trying times. So I guess that's my little soapbox on that I will leave you with. And with that is my second report. I will go back to my seat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Bennett. And with that, we'll move on to the Dover report. In lieu of Zach giving the report, he has requested me to give the report. And so here we go. UNI Day at the Capitol. It was a huge success. I second that. Every student that Zach talked to met with their legislator, or at least got to speak with a legislator. Many of the legislators told Zach that it was one of the best UNI days they have seen in a long time. So go team. That's wonderful to hear. We cannot wait to follow up with the legislators for positive interactions with the students. I know that there was quite a few people that had long conversations with the legislators. So, Cedar Falls, which is City Council Liaison. Zach was appointed this on Monday. He's honored to fill the position since we didn't fill the role last semester. So this is kind of a bit of news to me, but wonderful. I'm glad we had that connection with the city government. And then kudos goes to many people, so there's a list. Everyone who came on the bus, it wouldn't be successful, and because we had to find the bus, so that was quite an adventure too. Mike for helping out a ton and really making it possible. Thank you very much, Mike. Legislative liaison team for helping round up the legislators. Turner Sperry and their string quartet for absolutely killing it. The many legislators commented they loved it, so yes, thank you very much. Upper cabinet for all attending and enjoying the day. I definitely had a blast. Anyone who helped carry things, so I know like Jill Ray, Tanner Richards, I know you did as well, Mason, so thank you very much. Lastly, anyone who made this day possible. It's been a stressful semester for him, and I appreciate all the help and support from all of y'all. With that, he shall leave you with the bad times shall pass, the good times shall pass, so be prepared because this too shall pass. It's really depressing, but hey, thank you very much, Zach, for your report. Layla's not here, and she did not request me to read her report, so you can read her report in Google Drive. And with that, we will move to the report from the Board of Directors, beginning with the Director of Athletic Affairs, Gabby Chingham. All right.
Hi, everyone. So to start, we've had a couple SAC meetings, and we decided to wait on rolling out our mental health initiative, the Bandana Project, due to some logistical complications. And we decided right now, in lieu of the project, focusing on other things that would be more beneficial to our student athletes. And we're currently working on our student athlete awards night that takes place at the end of April. And our big concern right now is mental health. So Christina Roybal, who's an assistant athletic director, Andrea, who's an athletic advisor, and myself joined President Bennett at her student fees meeting to help request funding for a mental health professional embedded within athletics. Since we did not receive the funding we were hoping for going forward as a SAC group and as a department, we are looking into other options for helping our student athletes. I have a meeting with Andrea set up after spring break to help discuss our next steps and to see where we go from here. Thank you to President Bennett for everything she's done for student athlete mental health. It's so important, and we're hoping that from here we can continue to move forward and make progress in this area. That's it.
Thanks very much, Gavin. And in the folder, there is her email in case you have any questions. Oh, I recognize Vice President Strauss.
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify about the funding for the mental health thing, since I was gonna look and present to our student fees, like all of the line items and the whole spreadsheet of everything. I was gonna wait to do that because we just sent those into President Nook today. But just for your all's knowledge, right now we had it planned, and we actually hadn't gotten in contact back with the, with all of the, groups that were like requested, yet, so we, as of right now, are not planning on funding the mental health athletics, line item, but I'll just tell you all the reasoning for that was because student fees are meant to be for all students, so like the things that are funded within that are things like GV Pack, you all get 2 free tickets, every year. Things like family weekend, things like NISG, and that goes out to our, part of it is our operating monies, and also the rest goes out to like student orgs, and we pump those out all to the student orgs, green fund, sustainability efforts, things like that. The reason we didn't fund the athletics one is because that position was supposed to be just for athletes, and we just felt since this is supposed to be the monies, since they're all taken from all students, they have to be available, that the resources we fund are available to all students as well. And this was a position that we just didn't see that in. So I wanted to let you all know that that is just when we submit those are just recommendations. That's nothing set hard and fast. If President Nook wants to raise fees and be able to fund that, he has the ability to do so. We did submit, and I'll go through this on Wednesday. When we come back from spring break, we did submit both to bottom for our student services fees. We did submit one without a budget increase, and we also submitted one with a 5% budget increase, and he can decide between the two if he does want to raise fees or not. I can talk about that later, or if you want to meet me in my office hours, and we can, if you have more questions about how that works, we can for sure go through that. But I just wanted to clear the air that nothing has been set super hard and fast yet. But as of right now, within our recommendation, we had not planned to put the athletics mental health GA position, or the position in the budget.
Thank you, Vice President Struck. I recognize President Bennett.
Yeah, and that's something I was made aware of. I don't want you guys to think I'm getting blindsided right now. But it's, yeah, I'm not giving up on this project just because this source of funding didn't pan out. I understand the reason, and I'm not gonna argue with it. It makes sense to me. But just trust that I'm plan B, C, D, E, all the way through probably Q right now for other avenues we can take this towards. But of course, like Allison said, pending, an official, this is what Nook approved. I haven't reached out to athletics yet for a follow-up, but I plan to do that once that happens. So my initiative isn't dead, don't worry. I'm still working on it.
Thank you, President Bennett. I recognize Director of Graduate Life, Kelsey Wren.
Okay, so just a heads up too, there's 4 GA positions in the counseling center right now that are graduate assistant, therapists that offer free services to all students.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if that was a thing, or if you guys were talking about adding more to that.
So the other 2 positions, sorry, do I need to be recognized again?
Sorry.
Are you done speaking?
Yeah, I was just saying that if somebody needs help right now, or if there is something that
Yeah, let's
people
talk
are
in the
going through. Yes, yeah, and I was gonna talk about that today anyway, so.
All right. Okay, perfect. With that, we will move on to the Director of Graduate Life report given by Director Kelsey Wren.
Yep.
Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to talk about is how I've been reaching out to other teaching assistants, graduate assistants, and then research assistants. This has been very beneficial for me because I am a GA. And I guess I didn't realize how many more were on campus and how many different positions there are. So I've been interviewing them, so it can be used as advertising for the graduate college, as well as sharing what graduate students do on campus, just to hopefully get more graduate students recruited. I've been more active on campus. I've been giving tours to graduate students, as well as like meeting with graduate students, and all of the ones that I've met are from different countries or different states, which I think is really cool. Just because I like talking to people who come from different backgrounds or do different things, and just hearing why they're choosing UNI or deciding to come here. So the next thing I was going to talk about is kind of what I brought up over there. So right now there is a campaign going on called Let's Talk About Mental Health. It's fundraising for GA positions, although the funding is, I don't want to say it's always there, but this GA position is through the graduate college for counseling. And they have 4 right now, which is a lot, I think, but they have 4 GA positions that offer free therapy to all students on campus through the UNI Counseling Center. Not only does it give working experience for the GAs, but it also is a benefit to students who need that, because mental health is on the rise in college students. And then I also, since the beginning of the school year, have attended graduate council meetings bi-weekly. These are interesting. They're kind of ran like these are, except on like the higher level of all the people who run like graduate colleges, which is really cool. But I've just been talking with different representatives, and I've been using my voice to advocate for graduate students specifically, just because I feel like we're kind of left out in different things. So specifically talking to graduate college professors and faculty and staff, it's just nice to have a student opinion there. And that's all I have. Wait, just kidding. Okay, and then the week of April 4th through the 8th is Graduate College Appreciation Week. So if any of you are graduating and thinking of going to graduate college, that's a good week to also talk to people from your graduate college. Okay, that's all I have now.
All right, thank you very much, Director of Graduate Life. All right, with that, we're going to move on to my report real quick. Firstly, spring break is next week. I hope you use this time to relax and get away from academics for a little while. I know I'm just going to be working at the registrar and working at Village Inn, so if you have time, I'll see at Village Inn in Waterloo. I know it's quite a drive, but still. All right, so besides my work as speaker, I have also been working on a few initiative ideas that I think I fill you in on, so people don't get the idea that this is all that I'm doing as my time. So currently I'm working on adding student preferred or new or changed names on student IDs. Firstly, I want to thank the Director of Diversity for giving me the information and the opportunity to take on the initiative. Then I found out with my meeting with the GSS coordinator, Caliani, and my meeting with Nick Capinello, that this has been a work in progress since 2018. It just kind of like drops off for a little while and then comes back and drops off for a while. Ultimately what we discussed is that this is an extremely possible initiative, and it could be implemented by the end of this semester or early next semester. So it all depends on getting IT funneling the information to the Department of Residence, University Housing and Dining, and finding what Nick called real estate or room to put it on the IDs. So that's something that we're figuring out, but otherwise very positive reactions from those two. Definitely feel like we're going full force and we can get it done. What I would hope is that we have the legal name on the back and the preferred name on the front, because if the legal name's on the back, you can still use your university ID to vote. Because so it can still be a form of identification. That's what's like the biggest thing that they brought up, is still utilizing the ID to vote. We contacted personnel in the registrar office. One of them was my bosses that since I work in the registrar, so I'm literally gonna bombard her every time I work and be like, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, how's this going? She cannot escape me. So I'm remaining back to hear on IT. IT is obviously understaffed at this point in time, so they have a list of things that they're working on. So it may still be a little while, but we're still going to keep trying, and I will report as this goes on. It will most likely take until the next term, My other initiative is combating misinformation. Firstly, I want to thank the External Relations Committee members for assisting with this. You guys had a large portion of credit for beginning this initiative and helping getting it started. I met with Eric Jennings from Rod Library in late February. Basically what I want to have is a site on the Rod Library website that we will link to the NISG website that dedicated to identifying, combating, and fact-checking news sources and news that one may believe is fake news. I wanted to include graphics, videos, and other sources, as well as explanations for this fake news / misinformation. What are steps I can take to identify it? Where do I go to fact check, that type of thing. At the end of the meeting with Eric Jennings, I requested that he give me a rough draft of the website by April 15th. He said that would be possible and he will have it to me by then. And then he said with how things are looking after the email I got a few days after our meeting that he would be able to have it done by the end of the term, end of the semester, end of the semester. So pretty good, got things rolling. Besides that, kudos goes to everyone who attended UNI Day at the Capitol, and all thanks and appreciation to Dover SAC, LLT. Thank you as well, Mike. It was a very wonderful event. I've never been inside the Capitol before, so it was the first time for me. It was like I'm afraid of heights though, so going up that was something. Yeah, but when you're on the roller coaster, and go down, yeah, that's what it felt like the entire time. But
Do you feel toned though after all those steps?
perhaps I feel like I'm back in my kindergarten days, like running across the field, like ooh, definitely a good exercise for the week. Maybe the month. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Maybe. All right. With that, we will move on to reports of the Senate, of which we have one tonight, given by Senator Katrina Tugend. And I have that right up here. Right.
So I made a Prezi because I love Prezis. So my initiative that I'm starting out, like as my first semester term as a senator, is centralizing health resources for UNI. That's like a really long title, but basically what I want to do is I want to recognize all the different resources UNI has, but then centralizing in a location where people can just find the ones they directly need instead of having to go out and find like the website or having to contact somebody or email someone. Just making it really simple and easy so like we can increase access. So why did I choose this initiative? So like I've taken a couple public health classes and then also I worked in a pharmacy in high school. So I feel like I have some idea like why people don't get the aid or access, like don't have access to certain things. And most of the time it's just because most of the time it's just because people feel like it's just too much effort they have to put in. That's why they're not using it. It's an amazing resource. And it's amazing, like people, like counselors and contacts they have, they just don't feel the need to go on and pursue it. It's like, even with my first semester here at UNI, I've heard different things about like the counseling center, like they never have appointments that work for me. Like I don't know where to find blank, which to some people sounds like excuses, but it doesn't matter if it's an excuse, it's still definitely an issue that we should be addressing. And then so basically what I want to do is I want to centralize the location like I mentioned, and then just combining the information and then decreasing how much effort one has to put in. And how I want to do this is I believe when I was first presenting, like when I was like saying, oh, this is what I want to do like on the ISG, someone recommended instead of creating an additional app for mental health aid, we should incorporate it into my UNI app, and that really stuck with me. I think that's a really good idea. Because a lot of students already have it on their phones. So instead of expecting them to go out of their way again to download something, they can just access that on the app. And then it's also kind of like gives them a certain degree of privacy. Like no one sees like, oh, you've been looking up these websites, no one sees you call these numbers. Because some people are very, like, they want to be anonymous just because they have a lot of stigmatization around like mental health and like asking for help. So currently, like this is what the app kind of looks like, and the counseling center does have a really amazing website. My only issue is that you have to search for the website to get access to the website, and for some people, that's just not something they think of when they realize they need help. So basically, what I want to do is just add like those purple circle icons onto the app.
I feel like it's very doable considering how many purple icons they already have. And then basically they open the UNI app, click it, and then it gives them like a directory, and then like quick link, like to the counseling centers, specific like call centers, things like that. Just so it's click, 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 go. And so then I definitely want to partner with the counseling center here at UNI. And like she had mentioned with the GAs, like there's some who are giving like free therapy. I really just want to like advertise that on the app because I feel like not like there's resources here at UNI that people just don't know about them. Then also just having like a scheduling forum, so you don't have to go to the website, you can just make an appointment, click on the app, you can cancel it too, stuff like that. And then also just including like call links and like text links for like hotlines and like text lines. So like if you don't really want to necessarily talk to somebody at UNI, you can always still access those. And then once again, just incorporating like national services on it too. But then also just like having maybe a directory of like local Cedar Falls, Waterloo resources and accesses, because not everyone lives on campus. So like the idea of having a scheduled appointment with counseling services on campus might be like out of your way. So maybe like having one place off campus might work best for you. So I definitely think this is like a straightforward initiative. It's not a big project. I'm basically just centralizing like any information you already have. I definitely think we can get it done by the end of the semester, if not by fall. So then incoming students, transfer, new students have access to this, and then current students, of course. But basically, I want to meet with the counseling center. It's gonna like comprise like an email over spring break, reaching out to them, and then discuss with IT. Once I've kind of discussed with them, we'll just decide like what we want to include, and then just seeing how long that will take, and then also just like surveying and seeing what the students want, just like on like a mental health icon in the app. I don't have any specific dates at the moment, but I will let y'all know. If you want to scan this QR code, it's if you want to give me comments, questions, suggestions, or you want to be a part of, just let me know. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. I recognize.
Awesome. I just want to say this is super great. I'm super excited to see this. Also, I love that you made like a whole presentation. That's fantastic because you definitely like identified like a very real like issue and need.
Yeah.
And I totally agree because it's like, you know, maybe they do technically have like a link that's kind of buried in the app.
Right. And the website is very nice. It's just you have to go through the website and click on the different links.
Yeah.
So just have it. And I feel like most of us use our phones more instead of websites. So just having it.
Yeah. There were a few bits on here. I know that because like I meet with Jennifer Schneider as the director of the council center like a whole lot. Right. I can definitely like
I would really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. She's the best.
Yeah.
A few of these are like there's small bits in here that I've already had conversations with her about, or I already know like certain routes that just like won't work, but like there's still a lot of very doable things here. A lot of it, like you will definitely. I'm super excited. Sorry, like fumbling my words, but no, I would love to have a conversation with you sometime at some point. My Google Calendar is very up to date. If you ever, and that goes for anybody. Like if you ever want to meet with me, I don't have like official office hours this semester, but my Google Calendar is up to date. You can throw stuff on there. But it's a fantastic job.
I'll contact you. And then yeah, I'll just leave this here in case y'all still type it here so we can scan it. But it's in the document too. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, and the Prezi is in a, it's under, in the folder under Senator Katrina Toomey Senate report, so you can find the link in there. All right, and with that, we will move on to the reports of the standing committees. Senator Ferguson is not here. Would anyone like to give the Ward 5 report in lieu of Chairman Ferguson? If not, that's okay. I just know you guys went over budgetary stuff last night, and it was a long meeting, I heard. So yeah, no. Okay, that's perfectly fine. With that, we'll move on to external relations. External relations did not meet this week. But I'm getting that newsletter sent to Rose to publish, and then when we return from spring break, we'll start working on the March newsletter. Campus relations, I know Did you guys meet Maucker or no? I don't think so.
Not me on Monday, no.
No, all right, sounds good. And then we'll move on to government and legislative affairs. Hold on, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Okay, so we had a meeting tonight at 6:30 for the first time in a month and a half. It was exciting. We got through some amendments for the Constitution. We have one for bylaws that is going up tonight. We are working, those might be some of the final amendments for the term. We are going to be working on rules of the court in the next meeting, which will be probably our final meeting for the term. If you see any, as I said, if you have any NISU documents that you've seen updated, come tell us. 6:30 Wednesdays upstairs. And then also, I brought pie for Pie Day. Go have pie. I don't want to take it back. Please eat it. Go eat pie.
3.14. All right, thank you very much, James. With that, we will move on to our legislative docket for this evening, beginning with SSR 2022-25, a resolution for recognizing Women's History Month. Would any of the writers like to introduce this legislation? Or do you want me to? James? All right, sounds good.
Okay, so as some of you may know, and some of you may not know, March is Women's History Month. So this just reads, whereas Women's History Month is in the month of March, Women's History Month is a month for celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of all women. Whereas all women, regardless of racial identity, religion, or sexual identity, deserve to have their voices heard, accomplished, recognized. Women's History Month has been celebrated and recognized by Congress since March 1987, and recognizing the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of all women, and recognizing the history of all women and the journey women have gone through, including fighting for the right to vote, fighting for equality and the ongoing struggle for equal pay, and reproductive freedom, and countless other issues women have had to fight for, and further recognizing the Northern Iowa Student Government's support of women in the March and beyond. And be it therefore resolved, the Northern Iowa Student Government encourages all and stands by all women regardless of race, sexual orientation, religious affiliation, or creed, encourages discussion of women's substantial contributions to history, and therefore resolved, sending it to all the female organization on campus. If you want to read the list, it's there. Before it therefore resolved, this resolution be sent to the Northern Iowa to possibly be published all women on the UNICE campus know that the Northern Iowa Student Government stands.
Are there any questions on SSR 2022-25? Going one more time. And if not, the Senate will then move into a period of debate or amendment on SSR 2022-25. Are there any motions to be recognized for amendment or debate? And going one more time. And if not, that allows me to motion the previous question, which allows us to move into a roll call vote on SSR 2022-25, a resolution for recognizing Women's History Month. Senator Ferguson abstains with an excused absence. Senator Krutzinger.
Yes.
Senator Sperry.
Yes.
Senator Christensen.
Yes.
Senator Carolus.
Yes.
Senator Miller.
Yes.
Senator Amin.
Yes.
Senator Myers.
Yes.
Senator Tungu.
Yes.
Senator Richards abstains with an excused absence. Senator Duong.
Yes.
Senator Piper.
Yes.
Senator Dodgen.
Yes.
Senator Bell.
Yes.
Senator Tunjan.
Yes.
With a vote of 14-0 I am proud to announce SSR 2022-25 is hereby passed. With that, move on to SSR 2022-26, a resolution for recognizing International Women's Day. James, go ahead.
Okay. So, like we said, March is International Women's Month, but International Women's Day is March 8th for this year. International Women's Day is a day for celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of all women. And whereas the University of Northern Iowa has over 100 years of history of women contributing their leadership abilities and look towards the betterment and economic in their communities. And whereas women's stories and contributions have often been marginalized on the pages of history, and their contributions deserve to be recognized. And whereas International Women's Day has been celebrated since 1911, and whereas International Women's Day has been recognized by the United Nations since 1975, and recognizing the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of all women, and recognizing the history of all women and the journey that women have gone through, including fighting for the right to vote, and equality, ongoing struggle for equal pay, and the many other things women have to fight for, and further recognizing the Northern Iowa student government expressed its support of women on and off campus, students, facility, faculty, and staff. Be it therefore resolved, the Northern Iowa student government stands by all women regardless of race, sexual orientation, religious affiliation, or creed, and encourages discussion of women's substantial contributions to history, and be it therefore resolved, the list of organizations once more. Be it therefore resolved, this resolution be sent to the Northern Iowa to possibly be published so all women on UMass campus know that the Northern Iowa student government stands for them.
Are there any motions to be recognized for questioning on SSR 2022-26? Going one more time. And if not, the Senate will then enter a period of debate or amendment on SSR 2022-26. Are there any motions to be recognized for debate or amendment? Going one more time. And if not, that allows me to motion the previous question, which allows us to enter a roll call vote on SSR 2022-26, a resolution for recognizing International Women's Day. Senator Ferguson abstains with an excused absence. Senator Kutzinger.
Yes.
Senator, I think that was a yes, pretty sure. Senator Sperry.
Yes.
Senator Christensen.
Yes.
Senator Carolus.
Yes.
Senator Miller.
Yes.
Senator Amin.
Yes.
Senator Myers.
Yes.
Senator Tungu.
Yes.
Senator Richard abstains with an excused absence. Senator Duong.
Yes.
Senator Piper.
Yes.
Senator Dodgen.
Yes.
Senator Bell.
Yes.
Senator Tunjin.
Yes.
With a vote of 14-0 I am proud to announce SSR 2022-26 is hereby passed. Last piece of legislation for this evening, SSB 2022-62. Am I granted permission to introduce this by the Game Chair? Okay, so it simply says, amending the bylaws. Membership of this committee is recommended to consist of, but is not limited to, committee chairs, a speaker, and a senator elected to be chairperson of the committee. This was changed because not only were we not having the chairs of the committees on that committee, but we also thought it would not be very. It was better. It is better to have it recommended than have it be a legitimate requirement, because it may not be possible for chairs to attend at that time and reasonings. So, are there any questions on SSB 2022-62? And if not, are there any motions to be recognized for debate or amendment on SSB 2022-62? And if not, I then reassign SSB 2022-62 for preparation for second reading at our next Senate meeting on the 23rd. And with that, that brings us to the end of the 25 recognized Senator closed.
That was a bylaw, not a. Why is it a second reading?
Pardon?
Why is it a second reading document if it's only the bylaws?
It's both bylaws and constitution, isn't it? Huh?
I thought it was just the Constitution that we did 2 readings for. Am I incorrect?
I thought it was as well.
Okay.
Okay, all right. With that, I then bring the 21st regular Senate meeting to adjournment. And thank you, everyone. Can I speak to Senator Miller, please?